9 games, 9 circles of hell, and a title that literally means a hymn for the dead. What if Resident Evil 9 Requiem isn't just the next chapter in Capcom's legendary horror saga, but the end of an entire cycle? A descent through hell that began nearly 30 years ago and may finally be reaching its last circle. Resident Evil has always been about survival horror, but underneath the zombies, the outbreaks, and the B-movie tropes lies something deeper. A story about human ambition, corruption, and the cost of pushing beyond our limits. And as the 9th mainline game approaches, it feels almost poetic that the series lines up perfectly with Dante's divine comedy. In Inferno, Dante descends through 9 circles of hell before finally reaching paradise. 9 circles, 9 games. And when you start looking closely, the parallels get eerie. Each Resident Evil entry mirrors one of Dante's circles of sin. If that's true, then Resident Evil 9 Requiem may be the final descent, the 9th circle, where the story must end before something entirely new begins. Before we descend, let's remember, Resident Evil already has a direct link to Dante. During the development of Resident Evil 4, Capcom experimented with a version of the game that featured castles, demons, and supernatural powers. It strayed too far from Resident Evil's core identity, so Capcom spun it off into something new, Devil May Cry. And Devil May Cry? It wears its inspiration on its sleeve. Dante, Virgil, demons, all drawn directly from the Divine Comedy. So Resident Evil and Dante aren't strangers, they're family. Devil May Cry was the demonic cousin inspired by Dante, while Resident Evil continued with its bioterror horror. Which raises the question, if Resident Evil 9 is subtitled Requiem, is Capcom now closing the book on one cycle before beginning another? Dante's Hell has 9 circles, each punishing a different sin, and strangely enough, each mainline Resident Evil game can be seen as a reflection of those same sins. Circle 1, Limbo. Limbo is a place of waiting, of shadows, where the unbaptized dwell. Resident Evil 1 is literally a limbo. The Spencer Mansion, a labyrinth of locked doors, waiting horrors, and people trapped between life and death. The game sets the stage, just like Limbo sets the tone of hell. Circle 2, Lust. Lust isn't just about desire, it's about obsession. And RE2 is a story of obsession. Umbrella's endless drive to dominate life itself, William Birkin's obsession with the G-Virus, and even Leon and Claire's desperate pursuit of survival. Everything in Raccoon City spirals out of control because of unchecked obsession. Circle 3, Gluttony. Gluttony is excess, consumption without end. Nemesis embodies this perfectly. A monster that devours everything in its path, a relentless hunger to consume STARS members. The outbreak in Raccoon City reaches its most excessive form, chaotic, inescapable, overwhelming. Circle 4, Greed. Greed is power at any cost. RE4 revolves around cultists, parasites, and power-hungry leaders who exploit Las Plagas for domination. Sadler's greed fuels everything, and even Leon, the government's asset, is fighting within a web of control and exploitation. Circle 5, Wrath. Wrath is violent anger, and RE5 is fueled by it. The rage of infected swarms, the wrath of Westgrad is failed godhood, the fury of history catching up to Umbrella's sins in Africa. The entire game burns with anger, both personal and global. Circle 6, Heresy. Heresy is the denial of truth, the rejection of faith. And RE6 is a sprawling tale of global heresy, governments denying responsibility, corporations rewriting reality, leaders betraying trust. It's a game about lies and conspiracies, humanity rejecting its own truth in favor of profit and survival. Circle 7, Violence. Violence against self, others, and nature. RE7 is pure violence distilled. The Baker family's grotesque abuse, Evelyn's manipulation, and Ethan enduring body horror after body horror. It's an intimate, brutal circle. Hell brought home. Circle 8, Fraud. Fraud is deception, illusion, and trickery. Village is a fairy tale gone wrong. An entire village built on lies, cultist devotion, and Mother Miranda's manipulation. Everything is a fraud. The lords who play the roles in Miranda's theater, the false hope of salvation, even Ethan's life itself revealed to be an illusion. Circle 9, Treachery. The ninth circle, reserved for traitors, frozen in the ice of betrayal. If RE9 truly is the ninth circle, betrayal will be its core theme. Perhaps Spencer returns, betraying humanity once again. Perhaps old allies reveal their true colors. Or perhaps the biggest betrayal is against the players themselves. An ending that freezes the series in place, before breaking it apart to begin something new. This isn't all headcanon. Capcom has already teased Dante. In Resident Evil Revelations, Clive O'Brien is seen reading the Divine Comedy, a direct nod to this very connection. The trailer for RE9 shows a phonograph, music as ritual, as Requiem echoing the importance of pieces like Moonlight Sonata in Resident Evil history. The hooded figure, possibly Oswald Spencer, could tie everything back to origin of the nightmare. Full circle. Even the title Requiem is a final hymn, a closing act. Here's the key. Dante doesn't end in hell. After the ninth circle, he ascends through purgatory and finally reaches paradise. If RE9 is the ninth circle, the end of Resident Evil as we know it, then maybe Capcom is preparing something new, a rebirth, a paradise that redefines the franchise. Could it be a fusion with Devil May Cry's mythological roots? Could it be a return to Shinji Mikami's psychological horror style like The Evil Within? Or could it be something entirely new? Resident Evil leaving behind viruses and corporations, and moving into uncharted territory. So maybe the connection isn't a coincidence. 9 games, 9 circles. A cousin franchise literally born from the Divine Comedy, foreshadowing in Revelations and the symbolism of music and ritual. A final title, Requiem. Maybe Resident Evil has always been a descent through hell, and RE9 is the ninth circle, the frozen pit of treachery where everything comes to an end. But endings are also beginnings. Just as Dante left hell behind and found paradise, maybe Resident Evil is about to leave behind Umbrella, bioweapons, and the old cycle, and ascend into something entirely new. If Resident Evil 9 truly is the Requiem, then it's not just the end of an era, it's the silence before the next song begins. Thank you so much for watching. I just want to take a moment to say thank you. When I started this channel, I honestly thought maybe 50 people would ever stumble across it. But in August alone, over 100 of you hit that subscribe button, and that blew my mind. Every time you comment, share a thought, or even just watch the videos, it motivates me to keep going. And seeing this community grow so fast makes me even more excited for the future videos I plan on doing. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Let's see where this journey will take us.